There's a quiet misunderstanding most people carry about change. They think it starts with intention or motivation, or wanting something badly enough. That assumption sounds reasonable. It's also why so many capable people stay stuck. Because human behavior doesn't begin with ideas, it begins with capacity. When a system lacks fuel, it doesn't matter how inspiring the destination is. You can't will a machine into performing beyond what it's built to supply. Most self-help advice accidentally treats the brain like a motivational whiteboard. Write the goal clearly enough. Visualize it long enough. Repeat it often enough, and behavior will fall in line. That model assumes a nervous system that is stable, resourced, and cooperative. That assumption collapses under stress. Stress changes the rules. Under pressure, the brain stops optimizing for success. It optimizes for predictability. Predictability feels safe, even when it's self-defeating. This is where most people misdiagnose themselves. They call it a discipline problem or a consistency problem or a willpower problem. But those are surface labels for something deeper. The system is underpowered. Behavior is not a moral issue. It's an engineering problem. Inside the brain, there are a few key regulators that decide whether effort feels worthwhile, whether restraint is possible, and whether action feels accessible at all. When those regulators are balanced, progress feels natural. When they're depleted or unstable, everything feels heavier, delayed, or pointless. One system governs pursuit. When it's functioning well, effort creates momentum. Movement feels meaningful. You take action without overthinking it. When it's depleted, planning replaces doing. Preparation becomes a lifestyle. Tomorrow becomes a permanent address. Another system governs restraint. It's what allows you to pause, to tolerate discomfort, to stay with something once the novelty wears off. When this system is unstable, emotions spike. Reactivity increases, and you know exactly what to do, and you still don't do it. A third system governs readiness. Not panic, readiness. A calm alertness, a backbone under pressure. When this is low, avoidance shows up. Brain fog, fatigue that rest doesn't fix. When it's too high, the system burns itself out. None of this is about character. It's about load. Stress consumes resources. Sleep loss blunts sensitivity. Inflammation interferes with absorption. Stimulation without recovery erodes regulation. A person can eat well, work hard, and still be depleted, not because they're failing, but because the system is adapting to sustained demand. Here's the trap most people fall into next. They try to solve a biological constraint with a psychological command. Just push through. Just be more disciplined. Just override it. That works briefly, then the system crashes. What people call willpower isn't a trait, it's a temporary state. And identities are not affirmations. Identities is prediction. Your nervous system carries a story about what you do under pressure. That story produces behavior automatically. Those patterns get labeled as habits, but habits are just the visible outputs. The identity is the generator. And the brain has a rule it protects about all others. Don't violate the story. Change threatens predictability. Predictability feels like safety. So identity change registers as danger. That's why inconsistency feels safer than growth. That's why people self-sabotage right after progress. That's why starting is easier than continuing. Real change doesn't come from adding motivation. It comes from withdrawing allegiance from the old pattern. Old behaviors don't disappear because they're challenged. They disappear when they become unacceptable. Not abstractly, viscerally. When a behavior feels beneath you, awkward, embarrassing, out of place, the nervous system stops defending it. Comfort is the tell. If the old pattern still feels comfortable, it's still alive. If the signal you're looking for isn't enthusiasm, it's estrangement. When old excuses sound stupid, when old routines feel foreign, when the previous version of you feels misaligned with who you are now, that's the shift. From there, behavior becomes mechanical again. Tasks shrink until completion is guaranteed. Progress is visible and tracked. Stimulation is reduced unless it's intentional. During stress, choices are removed. Routines anchor the system. Timing replaces motivation. Avoidance is met with brief, controlled exposure, not force. Discomfort becomes familiar, not overwhelming. Ritual replaces novelty. Consistency replaces intensity. And one final principle governs all of it. Action recalibrates the system faster than thought ever will. You don't think your way into stability. You move your way into it. Confidence isn't imagined, it's installed. One completed action at a time. When the system is supported, behavior follows, not because you tried harder, but because resistance was no longer required. That's what change actually looks like.